Hello, good evening. I'm so excited that so many people showed up for this event. My name is Indy Maharaj, and I'm the dietitian at Erlanger Rehab and Wellness. And today with me doing the cooking demonstration, we have Christy Smith.
Christine Smith, and we're going to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, oatmeal in a jar. I know most of you have probably done this before, but we're going to pretend that it's the night before. So we're going to put the oatmeal in the jar if it doesn't go everywhere else.
And oatmeal is one of those whole grains we were talking about. It's also high in fiber. It has both soluble and insoluble fiber, which is really important. And eating a plant-based whole grain diet is where you really get a chance to get the required amount of fiber you need. The average person needs about 25 to 35 grams of fiber for the day.
So we're adding a cup and a half of, we've got a cup and a half of oats and a cup and a half of oatmeal, of applesauce. And then we have a half a teaspoon of cinnamon and a half a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. That's going to go in there.
And taking advantage of spices in your diet is really important because cinnamon has been proven to lower blood sugar. A teaspoon of cinnamon lowers blood sugar by 7 points. So that is really good. It's a lot of cinnamon to use, but if you put some in your oatmeal and you put some on your toast and you add some to your sweet potato, you can really bump up your cinnamon and by that way lower your blood sugars.
So I added about a cup of water, and then this is soy milk, or it could be almond milk, or it could be oat milk or rice milk. And so this is just it's just personal preference if you want to do all water or all some sort of non-dairy milk. Now we're just going to take this, put the top on it, and put it in the refrigerator overnight. And then when we take it out in the morning, what we will add to it is, Indy's going to...
Yeah, you can add berries, and, when you eating during the day, what you're really trying to do is eat the rainbow. So maybe for breakfast in the morning, if you want to add some strawberries and some blueberries or some raspberries and some blueberries to your oatmeal, you cover two colors there. And as a former speaker talked about the phytochemicals. That way you're introducing a lot of phytochemicals into your breakfast. Also, you can top your oatmeal out with some nuts. And nuts are like one of the perfect food. So you'll get good vitamins, good minerals, good oils, good fats. You can also add flaxseed, which is a plant-based source and has been proven to lower cholesterol. Also, you can add things like chia seeds. And you can start off slowly. You can, experiment with these things, see what you like, and, just be like a little scientist in your kitchen.
So the basic recipe is just the oatmeal, the liquid, the spice, whatever you like, cinnamon, and then you put it in the jar overnight, and you wake up in the morning. You can heat it up, you can eat it cold, add whatever you'd like to it. So healthy, good start to a breakfast. And as we all know, people who eat breakfast are healthy people. So we're going to pack our lunch.
And for lunch today, Christy has a whole grain wrap. And this is another way of introducing some whole grains and bumping up your fiber in your diet. And
hummus. We've got some oil-free hummus we're going to spread on our tortilla.
Good. And hummus, traditionally hummus is made with chickpeas And chickpeas is really one of those wonder foods. It's high in calcium, it's high in fiber, it's high in protein, it's got good slow glycemic index carbohydrate. So when you add, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, some garlic, and garlic has all these antiviral properties, and lemon juice, and tahina, which is a sesame seed paste, which is another seed, another oil. So, that's the basis for your sandwich, and then you can pump up the vegetables. So whatever you like. Here we have
peppers of different colors that we're just going to add in here, and some tomato and some cucumbers. So you can put whatever you want in here, but as Indy said, make it a rainbow. All the varieties of colors and textures. And I'm going to put on some carrot on top. You could even do some alfalfa sprouts. Very important to have your food prepared and to be able to go to work or start your day with some idea of what you're going to eat, because you never know where you're going to be, and we cannot let our eating choices take a second seat to where we are and what we have available. So you always have to be thinking a little bit ahead. Where am I going to be when I'm hungry? Where am I going? What do I need throughout the day? Because if you're stuck in front of Taco Bell or McDonald's or Burger King, not too good choices there. So as we finish this up, we might put some lettuce on top.
And Max and I might like some sriracha on that sandwich, wouldn't we, Max? So you can, spice it up however you want. And
so I brought 2 sauces to put. I made a vegan cashew ranch dressing, my husband's favorite. So I made that today, and we can put that. You basically soak your cashews and put them in a blender with some spices, and it's delicious. So I can use that today to put on my, it kind of acts like cement to cement it together.
And preparing ahead gives you a really good start. I always tell my classes that I teach, if you don't plan to fail. And research show that people who lose weight and keep it off, and your weight affects your cholesterol and your blood pressure and everything else. People who lose weight and keep it off eat 90% of their meals from home.
So, as we finish this wrap, I did have another dressing of choice. This is a sesame seed dressing. It's basically got toasted sesame seeds and some tamari and what else? Oh, a little maple syrup to sweeten it. So it's wonderful, and it's tasty, and you're getting your seeds. So I'm going to slice this up. And I found this wonderful sandwich holder. So we're going to put it in here. This is what I had for lunch today. Oh, I forgot the avocado. That's always a good thing to add on there.
Avocado is a good source of monounsaturated fat, plus it's high in potassium and a bunch of minerals. The green color in it is high.
Lunch.
It's high in lutein, that's good for your eyes. So as long as you add in plant sources to your diet, you just bumping up your nutrients, you're bumping up your minerals and vitamins. So it's a win-win-win.
Okay. And while this is heating up a little bit, I'm not quite sure, it might explode, but we're going to do dinner. And I cooked earlier my brown rice in my Instant Pot. Took about 15 minutes. I also made some quinoa in there. It took about 9 minutes, maybe 5. But it's wonderful. Pressure cooker. People are always afraid of pressure cookers because the steam starts coming out. But it's a wonderful way to cook rice and beans and lentils and all kinds of polenta, all kinds of grains, because it does it so quickly and because you're always sure it's going to come out okay because the machine has buttons and you push rice and you push beans and you push, because sometimes I just never know if it's going to turn out okay. So this is a wonderful contraption. I did want to tell you, in your packets, there is a listing of apps and websites that I highly recommend, ways that can make your conversion to a whole food plant-based diet much easier. I would definitely say look at those. The other thing that I wanted to mention is things like Plant Pure Nation. Plant Pure Nation is a company that is dedicated to whole food, plant-based eating. They do meal starter kits. So you will get these in the mail, and you get the recipe, and so you buy the food, and then this is actually like the sauce or the ingredient that you would mix together, the spices, and it tells you exactly. So maybe tetrazzini or some sort of fettuccine, you would get the packet. And that might help you to sort of know how to make a good whole food plant-based meal. And then as you're transitioning, you can learn how to do that on your own. The other thing that they do offer, they have frozen dinners that are already made. They're whole food plant-based eating. They'll come straight to your door, and you pop them in the microwave, and it's an easy way to really know that you're getting a good plant-based meal. The other thing I highly recommend is purple carrot. And some of you I know have tried it. It's a vegan plant-based diet recipe, and you actually get the food in packets. So this is actually a meal that you would get in the mail, and it comes in a refrigerated box. And then the recipe is step by step, and it's really fun because you learn how to cook. It's delicious, and you learn that it's not so weird, and it really is good, isn't it, Showbers? Yes, they love it. But it might be a way for you to, you get 3 meals for about $60, I think it is, 3 meals for 2 people, and it's kind of a fun way to really get to know whole food plant-based eating. So let's see if we're heated up. All right, tell them what we're using to cook with.
So instead of oil, Chrissy is using some wine to saute. That kind cuts down on the fat a little bit. But if you do have some extra virgin olive oil, you get all the benefits of all the antioxidants, so you can use that also.
So we've got some onions, celery, and a little garlic in here that we're sauteing in our red wine. So if I didn't want to use the red wine, I could use water, or I could use a little vegetable broth. So to cut calories, if you're trying to eliminate oils from your diet, there's really no need to saute or to start with oil, especially with these good pans. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to saute the onions and the celery, and then we're going to add a variety of other vegetables. We have, can we see those? We have mushrooms, zucchini, eggplant, and peppers in here that will all marinate together and braise in our wine or our vegetable broth. And then we will take that and add our diced tomatoes and our spices, which are our Italian spices and our thyme, and then we will put that over a bed of rice or quinoa. So we've had 3 wonderful whole food plant-based meals for the day, and not feeling any neglect or not feeling like we missed anything.
So another good addition to a plant-based diet would be legumes. Legumes are just a class of vegetables that include beans, peas, and lentils. And they, long ago there was that trainer taught that you had to use complementary proteins, that your beans didn't have all the amino acids you need. But now we have found out that that isn't true. So you can have whatever beans you want in whatever combination with whatever else, and you'll get your complete protein plus, plus you get a good source of vitamins, a good source of calcium in a lot of beans, great fiber, soluble and insoluble fiber, and it's just delicious. I haven't met a bean I didn't like. So, and we need to experiment because there's so many of them out there. Here in the South, we mostly do the pinto beans. But there's the red beans and the zucchini beans and the flageolet beans and the cranberry beans. Make a little resolution to try a new bean every month. And there's really simple ways of cooking them, If you have a problem with you don't eat a lot of fiber and you're not accustomed eating beans, you may want to start off slowly. And there's ways of getting rid of the gas in beans. You can change the water. You soak your beans in a few times. Or you can use something like Beano. Or you never cook it in the water that you boil it or soak it in, because a lot of the sugars that cause the gas are in that water, so getting rid of it. So, and in a crunch, canned beans, you usually would have a little bit more salt, but if you rinse it well, you get rid of some of the salt. So, in your pantry, if you keep a few cans of beans, in a hurry, you'll be able to put together a Buddha bowl. Have you all heard about the Buddha bowl? Really, I recently heard about it, and I was like, Dr. Bailey mentioned it to me, and I was like, oh, that's a cute name, but I did have a Buddha bowl for lunch. I didn't know it was called that. So you have your grain, or you have your greens. You can start off with kale and spinach and lettuce, and then you can put on that your quinoa, your amaranth, or your teff, or whatever grain you like, your brown rice, and then you can add tofu. We are so lucky now that there's baked tofu in the store. All you have to do is cut it up, or, open a can of beans and just rinse it well, add your beans, and then whatever vegetable. Pile up on your vegetables. Do red peppers, green arugula, do yellow peppers, just whatever you like. And you can even sprinkle some pumpkin seed on it, and then your dressing of choice. So
I think one of the biggest keys to making this real is to have a great pantry. So, I can go home. I know I have vegetable broth. I have beans in a box. I've got diced tomatoes. I've got hummus. I've got veggies. And I can put together a meal. As long as I have a good whole grain, as long as I got some good veggies, as long as I've got some fruit, as long as I have some good spices and some good legumes, I can put together a great meal. And I think that's the key, is knowing how to do that quickly, and knowing that it doesn't have to be complicated. A Buddha bowl is basically just a grain, veggies, and toppings and legumes. So it's just those combinations of things. And it can be delicious, and as you can see, we need to eat the rainbow.
And if you so like, you could do a burrito bowl. You know, on the Mexican side, you could do your guacamole, you can do corn, you can do, you know, some salsa, some tortillas. So, you know, whatever theme you want, you could give it whatever name you want. You could just make it fun. And in order to do that, it may take a little prepping ahead of time, a little planning ahead of time, but it is so worth it. If you take 2 hours on the weekend and chop some fruit and cook and chop some vegetables and cook some beans and cook some brown rice, then during the week you can just put your bowls together, take it for lunch, or put your bowls together, dress it how you want, and have dinner ready.
Just grated some ginger in there, ginger and turmeric. Turmeric, it seems to be the most favorite root this time of year for health.
And turmeric has been proven to have a lot of anti-inflammatory, you know, properties. So, you know, if I feel sick, I make a tea made of turmeric root and ginger root, and I'm better. And black pepper. So.
Okay, so eating out, what do? You pick the same sort of things. You know, most restaurants have vegetables, they have salads, they have, if you get to go to Cashews, then you know you'll get the wonderful food we had tonight. But you can make good choices at restaurants. It's not as easy. You can do pizza without cheese. You can have a completely veggie pizza. So good choices are easy to make when you are committed to making them. And as we've said, cooking at home can be a great adventure with something like Purple Carrot or Plant Pure Nation helping you along the way. So there are resources out there. There are wonderful. I hope you take advantage of the apps and the websites because they really do help. The 21-day kickstart from Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine is very simple and very easy to follow. So there is no excuse. It is a fun, wonderful way to eat, and I hope that you embrace it.